good morning to all the children. So a warm welcome to the new session from the biggest corona break. I know we faced a lot of problems during the corona. So children, be safe at home, but your studies should not be disturbed as your 10th standard. So it's a very precious time for you. So even though it is corona, but be safe at home and try to follow the online classes, try to gain the knowledge, practice well and pay more attention than the regular classes. Okay. So let me introduce myself. This is N. Ramadevi. Today I am going to teach you biology. Okay. So let us see what we are going to learn today. So before that, let us see, we used to bring so many grocery items, food items to our house. For example, when you take a rice, a simple example, I will take a rice. How we will get rice? We used to generally purchase rice from a general stores or kirana stores. How they will get it? So they get from distributor companies. From the distribution, how these distribution companies will get? They will get directly from the mills. So how it will be transported? Through the different means of transport, either by using lorries or tractors, what not. By using different means of transport, the goods will transport from one place to another place. So in the same manner, children, in our body also different materials will move from one place to another place. For example, basically we used to take three types of materials. We all know that solids, liquids, gaseous. Basically we used to have the solid material and we used to drink many liquids like juices, milk, water, etc. and we used to breathe gaseous. So when we take all these three types of materials in our body and how they used to move, how they used to transport in our body, so today we are going to discuss about it. Okay? By using a special system, the materials will transport from one part of the body to another part of the body. So that system is nothing but circulatory system. Okay? Circulatory system play vital role in the transportation of the materials, whether it is a solid, liquid or a gas. So today we are going to discuss very in detail about the circulatory system. So let us see the first concept. Today we are going to move on to the first. So let me give a small introduction about this concept. Children, if you take the whole world, so there is a wide range of organisms from a small microbe to the very biggest organism. So as the 10th standard students, I hope you all knows that which is the smallest organism in the world? Virus. Okay? Virus is the very smallest organism, whereas the largest organism is blue whale. So blue whale is the world's largest animal. So when you take a virus till the blue whale, there are different varieties of organisms are there. They vary from the size, shape, etc. But every organism definitely requires transportation of the materials. But the way may be different from one organism to another organism. So basically organisms are two types: unicellular, multicellular. Unicellular are nothing but which made with a single cell. So you already learned in the primary classes. The best example, amoeba, we can go for paramecium. So these all we can say as a unicellular organisms. Whereas when you talk about multicellular, the organisms which made with many cells are called as the multicellular organisms. So we all belongs to multicellular. Compared to unicellular, we have more multicellular organisms, like all plants which we can see on the land, all plants and all animals we can say as a multicellular organisms. Okay. So from unicellular to the multicellular, there is a difference in the transportation system. So when we talk about either amoeba or paramecium, in all small organisms, they didn't have a specific system for the transportation. Simply they used to depend on diffusion process. Okay? So by the diffusion process, the transportation of the materials will take place. So they didn't have a specific system for the transportation. But whereas when you go to the multicellular, whether plants or animals, you know, some plants actually belongs to even 100 feet height, like rosewood and all, 100 feet height, such a tall trees, how the materials will transport? If we talk about water, it has to transport from soil to the such a tall place till the last part of the plant. In the same manner, when you talk about biggest animals like blue whale, dolphins, these all animals, how the materials will transport? So if they depend on diffusion, it is not possible. It takes so many years of the time. Okay, and along with the diffusion in even, they also follows one more method, that is osmosis. So during 9th standard we will discuss what is diffusion and what is osmosis. Okay, so diffusion nothing but movement of materials from higher concentration to lower concentration, especially during the diffusion solute molecule will move from higher concentration to lower concentration, whereas in the osmosis process solvent molecules move from higher concentration to lower concentration. So in all unicellular organisms, basically the transportation will take place through either diffusion or osmosis, whereas when we talk about multicellular organisms, if they depend on either diffusion or osmosis, children, it takes around some years of the time. Suppose if you want to send the water in our body, if it is diffusion process, our body is made up of trillions of cells. If it is diffusion, first it enter into one cell, from one cell to another cell to another cell. So to move like that, if you take water just now, it takes so many years of the time to reach your feet. Okay, so diffusion, osmosis are not suggestible methods in the multicellular organisms for the transportation. So for that purpose, all the multicellular organisms have a specially designed system, that is nothing but circulatory system. Okay, so circulatory system play vital role in all the multicellular organisms to carry the materials from one part of the body to another part of the body. Okay, so that is about the first concept of the circulatory system. So now let us see about the pulse, children. So first of all, before going to the pulse, just I want to tell you, as we are discussing about the circulatory system, do you know what are the important parts of the circulatory system? Circulatory system is composed of 3 parts. Okay, one is heart, the next one is blood vessels, and the next one is about blood. Okay, there are 3 parts: heart, blood vessels, blood. Okay, so in today class we are going to discuss about heart. So when we before enter into the heart concept, related to heart we have one more concept, pulse and heartbeat. Okay, so let me say first pulse, then we will move on to the heart. Okay, what is pulse, children? Just do the activity along with me. Take your index finger and middle finger, just keep near the wrist, below the thumb. So just hold like this for 1 minute. So just maintain a pin drop silence, just slightly try to press it. What you can feel, children? So you can feel that something is pushing our fingers up and down in a rhythmic manner, right? So just you found it, and try to maintain 1 minute silence and try to count how many times you can feel those rhythmic movements in a minute. Okay, so these rhythmic movements we call as pulse. Okay, so once again I want to say, what is pulse, children? The rhythmic movements where we can feel near the wrist is called as the pulse. Okay, so indirectly it is nothing but heartbeat. When heart pumps, the blood enters into blood vessel. So when the blood enters into the blood vessels, the same rhythmic movements will continue till the end of our hand. Okay, so that movement we can able to feel near the wrist. Okay, so that movement is called as the rhythmic movements of the blood vessels near the wrist, we can say as a pulse. Okay, so now let us see another thing. What is pulse and heartbeat? Pulse means, just now I said, pulse nothing but the rhythmic movements of the blood vessels near the wrist which we can able to feel, right. The same manner heartbeat nothing but pulsating of the heart. So, when heart beat, it contracts and relaxes, it contracts and relaxes. So, the contraction relaxation of the heart is called as heartbeat. So, when it undergoes contraction and relaxation, by that time the blood flows, the same feel we can able to feel near the wrist. Okay. So, pulse rate is always equal to heartbeat rate, both are same children. Pulse rate is equal to heartbeat rate, there is no change in that. Suppose if your heartbeat rate is higher, automatically your pulse rate also higher. If the heartbeat rate is less, automatically your pulse rate also very less. Okay. So, both are same, it is a very important question to you. Okay. So, try to understand. So, now let us move on to the main important concept, parts of the circulatory system. In that we are going to move into the heart. Yeah children, now we move on to the concept, parts of the circulatory system. As I said, mainly it consists heart, very important part, next blood vessels, next blood. So, today class we are going to discuss about only heart. Okay. So, regarding heart, first we will discuss external features. External means what? Outside, how it looks, how it appears. Okay. So, let us discuss external features of the heart. Yeah children, now we move on to the external features of the heart. Okay. As I said, external nothing but how it looks externally, outside. Okay. So, in this we are going to discuss 4 important points. Okay. First we will discuss size, next we will discuss shape, next we will discuss location, next we will discuss how it was protected. Okay. So, now let us see the size. Do you know the size of the heart children? Our heart size is one's fist. Okay. This is called fist. Okay. So, my heart is my fist size and your heart is your fist size. That is what we can say, one's fist. Okay. So, that is the size of our heart. Okay. The next point, shape. So, basically you all knows that heart means you saw different symbols, right. So, basically all people used to know heart symbol like this, right. Some extent maybe it is correct, but when it see really exact the shape of the heart is either pear shape or conical shape. Okay. Pear shape or conical, everyone knows cone, right. Cone is like this, it have a circular base and apex at the end, right. Whereas our heart is reverse conical shape, reverse conical. Okay. Either reverse conical shape or we can say pear shape, or see children, actually our heart usually you can draw like this. This is the actually our heart shape. So, when we draw like this, how can you imagine? Yes, it is a reverse conical shape, right. Reverse conical shape, and mainly what you can remember here, anterior side is very broad, anterior side is very broad, whereas posterior is very narrow. Posterior side is very narrow. Okay. So, this is the point everybody has to remember well. What is the shape of the heart? Either pear shape or conical shape we can say, but conical shape also reverse conical shape. Actually cone is in this shape, but heart is reverse conical shape. In this reverse conical shape means what you can understand, anterior side is very broader than the posterior. Okay. Posterior is very narrow, anterior is very broader. Okay. So, that is about the shape of our heart. So, let us see now location children. When you talk about location, where exactly our heart is located. So, I will say you in very clearly. See now, when you see human body in a simple manner, see this is the human body, right. So, this part we can say as a trunk, right. So, trunk consists, upper part is called chest cavity and lower part is called abdomen, right. So, when we see the location exactly, this is called chest cavity, center of the chest cavity. Okay, our heart is located center of the chest cavity, and middle of, here we have lungs actually, here lungs will present like this, okay. So, it is located in the middle of the two lungs, center of the chest cavity, middle of the two lungs, and slightly turned towards left side, slightly turned towards the left side. So, that is the exact location of our heart. I hope you understood. Once again, where it is located, center of the chest cavity, in between the two lungs and slightly turned towards the left side. Okay. So, that is the exact location of our heart. Okay. I hope you understood very clearly. So, now we move on to the last part is protection. How heart was protected. Okay. Heart protected in three ways, children. The first one is bony protection. Bony protection means, here I said heart. So, on the top of the heart we have rib cage, on back side of the heart we have spinal cord. So, spinal cord, rib cage will give a bony protection to the heart. Okay. And when you talk about heart like this, so this heart is covered by two membranes, children, two membranes. These membranes are called as pericardium. These membranes are called pericardial membranes or pericardium. So, the second protection is, heart is surrounded by two membranes. Each membrane we can say as a pericardium. Okay. Next, in between these two layers, two membranes, some fluid will move. So, that fluid we called as pericardial fluid. What we can say? Pericardial fluid. So, this pericardial fluid useful to protect the heart from mechanical shocks. Suddenly you may fall, suddenly you may jump, but heart does not affect immediately because this fluid will move around the heart and protects the heart from the mechanical shocks. Okay. So, once again, so we discussed 4 points. One is size, one's fist, okay, shape, either pear shape or conical shape. Next, location, where it is located, children, in between the two lungs, center of the chest cavity and slightly turned towards the left side. Okay. And how it was protected? It was protected by first method by rib cage and the vertebral column inside spinal cord. Okay. Second way, pericardium. Third way, by pericardial fluid. Yeah, children. So, before going to the internal structure of the heart, first I want to give you one more important note about the heartbeat. Okay. So, heartbeat, I already said you, the contraction, relaxation of the heart is called as heartbeat. So, how can we know the heartbeat, children? So, by using a device called as stethoscope. So, when you go to the doctor during the ill health time, immediately they used to check your heartbeat, right? So, I hope everyone knows the stethoscope. So, let me say who discovered this stethoscope. Okay. Stethoscope was discovered by René Laennec, one of the important bit for you. Okay. René Laennec in the year 1816. Okay. So, who discovered stethoscope, children? René Laennec in the year 1816. So, initially before stethoscope, how generally they used to know the heartbeat, you know, directly they keep the ear very near to the heart and they used to listen the sound. They used to keep the ear near the chest and they used to hear the sounds of the heart. Okay. Later, initially the stethoscope was built by the René Laennec by using the paper tubes, by using bamboo tubes, later by using paper tubes. Initially the stethoscope was designed to hear the sound of the heart. Okay. But later, now we have a very well advanced stethoscope which we can able to hear very clearly the sound of the heart. Okay. Now, we will move on to the internal structure of the heart. Children, now let us see the internal structure of the heart. So, how can we know the internal structure? Externally means, okay, by sheep's or goats heart we can imagine the external features, right? But internally means, so definitely we can go for the dissection. Okay. So, to do the dissection, what we required, first we need to collect a goat's or sheep's heart and we need a tray a jug of water, forceps, blade and gloves. Okay. So, when we collect the goat or sheep's heart, blood will be drained out. It should be cleaned thoroughly, then it should be kept in a tray, and there we need to add a jug of water to it. Now, by using straws also we required, straw, and wherever you can find a fine holes, just keep the straws inside the hole. So, that is the indication of our blood vessels. Okay. Now, with the help of forceps and blade, when we separate the external part, so we can go inside what are present inside the heart. Okay. So, now let me say what are the parts present inside and what is the internal structure of our heart. Okay. So, as I said before, the heart easy diagram I will tell you. This is the easiest diagram for you. Externally we know it is in a conical shape, internally it is like this. So, first point, when we see inside, what we can notice? Inside heart have two partitions children, one longitudinal and one horizontal partition like structures are present, which we call them as septum. Okay. So, the wall like structures are present. These walls are called as septum. So, because of the septum, the heart divided into 4 chambers children. So, we have how many chambers inside? So, when you open, then only we can see heart having 4 chambers, right. So, how many chambers we have? 4 chambers. Upper 2 chambers are called as auricles, also called as atrium. Okay. So, one is right auricle. First chamber we can say right auricle, second chamber we can say left auricle, and down 2 chambers we call as ventricles. Okay. So, first one is called as right ventricle and second one we call as left ventricle. So, in this way we have how many chambers children? 4 chambers. Right auricle, left auricle, right ventricle, left ventricle. So, the thing here, everybody have a big confusion here. Okay. The confusion here is which is right side, which is left side to your heart, right. So, actually when we are actually opposite to our boat, right. So, when we see opposite direction, so my right side is left side to the diagram. So, my left is right side to the diagram. So, please remember, everybody have a confusion between, especially we have right kidney, left kidney, okay, right lung, left lung, in the same manner right auricle, left auricle. So, simply you remember your opposite sides are the correct directions to your diagram. Okay. So, here once again heart consists 4 chambers, right auricle, left auricle, right ventricle, left ventricle. How these 4 were separated? As I said, wall like structures are present, which we call as septum. Septum is the singular children, septae is the plural. Septae means plural term, septum means singular. Okay. So, now how many septae we have? Here we have actually 4 septae children. So, now I will tell you what are the septum present in between the chambers of the heart. So, let us see first septum. This is the first septum. It separates like this. So, this wall, let us discuss about this wall. This septum is called as, it is present in between the auricles, right auricle and left auricle. So, it is called as auricular septum. Auricular septum. Okay, children. So, easy to understand. Inter means in between, auricles, it is present in between the auricles. So, it is called as auricular septum. Okay. So, now let us see the next septum. As it is present in between the ventricles, this septum is called as so easily you can able to guess, interventricular septum. Interventricular septum. Okay, as it is present in between the ventricles, it is called as interventricular septum. Okay, so now the next septum is this. This wall is present in between right auricle and the right ventricle. So it is called as right auriculo-ventricular septum. So if you understand the word meaning, it's very easy to remember for you. The right side, it is present in the right side, in between the auricle and the ventricle, in between the right auricle and the right ventricle. So right auriculo-ventricular septum. Okay. Now let us see the last septum, this one. So now I think everybody can able to say easily this one. What is this? Left auriculo-ventricular septum. Okay, in this way heart was divided into 4 chambers with the help of these 4 septae. What are the 4 septae, children? First one, interauricular septum, which separates both the auricles. Okay. The second septum, interventricular septum, which separates both the ventricles. Okay. Third one is right auriculo-ventricular septum, which separates right auricle from right ventricle. Okay. Then what is the last, 4th one? Left auriculo-ventricular septum, which separates left auricle from left ventricle. Okay. Yeah, children, I hope you understood about the 4 septae now. A glance once again what we discussed today, children. What is circulatory system, how it is in unicellular and multicellular, and what is pulse, and what is the relation between the pulse and the heartbeat. And then we enter into the parts of the circulatory system, and it consists heart, blood vessels and blood. So today we discussed only about the heart. In the heart we completed external features, and internal also we completed some part. Okay. So I hope you all understood. So try to answer my questions. I am going to ask you a few questions. Okay. So let us see what is pulse, children. What is pulse? What is the relation between pulse and the heartbeat? What is the size of the heart? Where the heart is located? How heart was protected? Okay. And what are the 4 important septae present in the heart? So I hope you all understood. If you are able to answer these questions, so you understood the concept. Thank you.